Ronald Read spent 25 years servicing cars and 17 more sweeping floors. At 38, he bought a modest house and lived there for the rest of his life. When he died in 2014 at age 92, he left his stepchildren $2 million and donated $6 million more to his local hospital and library. His secret? Diligent saving, stock investing, and decades of patience. Now consider Richard Fuscone, a Harvard graduate who became so wealthy so quickly that he retired in his 50s. Then came the 2008 financial crisis, and he lost nearly everything, eventually filing for bankruptcy. So, how did a gas station attendant with no formal education outperform a Harvard graduate? Because economic success doesn't require scientific knowledge, it is a skill, one where your behavior matters far more than your intelligence. That skill is understanding the psychology of money, and it is what Morgan Housel explores in his book. Hi, I am Nick, the guy with the Greek accent. I have read this book twice and taken detailed notes. Unlike the AI-generated summaries flooding YouTube, this video comes from genuine study and reflection. I am sharing the most powerful ideas with you. If you find this useful, subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Let's start. Understand this. You are a single player in a game with 8 billion more players. What you do, your action, does not matter as much as you think. The actions of the other 8 billion players in the economic game matter as well, sometimes more than yours. This matters because it keeps you from being blinded by your own ego when you win, or being crushed by regret when you lose. Since you can't control the other 8 billion players, your only real job is to manage your own behavior and stay humble enough to survive their moves. There is luck and risk. Some things are just random. We tend to underestimate randomness in our life. Let's say I buy a stock and 5 years later the price hasn't moved. Did I make a wrong decision? We can't be sure. What if the stock had an 80% chance of going up? If that was the case, I was just unlucky. Reality chose the route that had a 20% chance of happening. So I felt the consequences of risk. The decision I made was correct, but I was unlucky. In our life, we notice impressive economic results all over. Take Elon Musk, the richest man alive. His success is an outlier. The more extreme the result, the more probable it is that luck had a huge part to play in it. When you model your life for economic success, don't model it on people like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett. Extreme results almost always come with luck. But we can't base our future on luck. We need prudence. Luck and risk sometimes go unnoticed. When things are going extremely well, you must be humble to understand that things might not be as good as they look. Maybe luck is pushing you to succeed. But luck has a brother, risk. So if you run out of luck, your success might disappear in a moment. The opposite is also true. If you are not successful despite your hard effort and correct decisions, you might think your decisions were bad and change route. But you might just have been unlucky. So if you want to have a chance to succeed economically, you have to construct your life in such a way so a bad or just an unlucky decision cannot wipe you out. You have to survive. You have to stay in the game until luck changes and now favors your decisions. Survival must be your number one goal. As Warren Buffett said, there is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. But this advice, although very simple, is very hard to follow. We are constantly comparing ourselves to others. If someone is wealthier than us, we feel the sting of envy, and we try to compete, which a lot of times results in dumb decisions. Now, in our connected world, there will always be someone richer or more successful than we are. This is a game we can't win. The only way to win is not to play. We have to be content with what we have, even if we have less than our neighbor. But this is a very difficult thing to do. Our brain is hardwired for comparisons. Monish Pabrai shared a story from his dinner with Warren Buffett. He asked Buffett what happened to Rick Guerin. Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and Rick Guerin were friends and partners. But something happened and Rick disappeared. Buffett said, "Charlie and I always knew that we would become incredibly wealthy. We were not in a hurry to get wealthy. We knew it would happen. Rick was just as smart as us, but he was in a hurry." At the 1973 crash, Rick was investing with money he had borrowed. He lost everything. So again, survival should be our number one goal. Social comparison can make us do things that can wipe us out. We have to be careful. There is a popular saying that money doesn't buy happiness, but money buys something very important. It buys us the control of our time. As sociologist Angus Campbell put it, having a strong sense of controlling one's life is a more dependable predictor of positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life we have considered. We have to have enough money to control our life. More control equals more happiness. That's why we must protect our hard-earned money when making economic decisions. The best tool to achieve that was first introduced by Benjamin Graham. It is the margin of safety. When we make economic decisions, we decide based on probabilities. Nothing is certain. Even a decision with a 99% probability of success can still fail 1% of the time. We have to take that into consideration. Using a margin of safety, we can make sure that no decision can make us leave the game. I work on this YouTube channel full-time now, and I believe it will work out in the future. But that is not certain. I believe that the probability is high enough, but that probability is way less than 100%. Life is notorious for surprising us in the worst possible way, in the worst possible time. This effort can fail for reasons out of my control, but I am prepared for that because I have a margin of safety, a cash cushion to support me for a few years if things go south. How did I build this cushion? Saving. Always spend less than you earn. That extra cash gives you a margin of safety when things go wrong or when you want to try new things. It allows you to have control of your life, and as we saw, that leads to more happiness. The money I saved years ago allowed me to pursue my dream, to work on this YouTube channel. It gave me more control over my time, more fulfillment. One of the best ways to increase your savings is not by increasing your income, but by increasing your humility. As Morgan Housel says in the book, savings is the gap between your income and your ego. People who tend to do well with money don't care what other people think about them, so their economic decisions are not dictated by others. They also have low expectations. Stephen Hawking was paralyzed when he was 21. One day, an interviewer asked him, "Are you always this cheerful?" He replied, "My expectations were reduced to zero when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bonus." If you have low expectations and you think about the bad things that can happen and can wipe you out, you save more and you take more calculated risks. That increases the chances of staying in the game longer. And as we have seen, if you stay in the game long enough, you increase the chances of luck finding you. Even if you don't have a lucky break, most people underestimate the power of small changes in the right directions. People tend to think in linear changes because that's how our brain is wired by evolution to think. But money compounds. If you save and invest for a long period of time, you can achieve results your brain cannot imagine at once. Deliberate effort is needed. For example, if you save and invest $1,000 a month for 40 years and that money compounds at 10%, you don't just end up with a linear sum, you end up with over $6 million. That's exactly how Ronald Read even though he had low income, managed the incredible result we saw at the beginning of the video. But he didn't just save, he also invested. Many people are scared by the volatility of the market, but you don't have to be scared by that. That volatility is the price you have to pay if you want to achieve good results. It is like when you go to Disneyland. Sometimes you pay the entrance fee and it rains. Sometimes the result won't be good. The ups and downs of the market and the uncertainty is the price you have to pay to participate. As Charlie Munger said, if you can't stand a 50% price decline once or twice a century, you are not fit to be a common shareholder and you deserve the mediocre result you are going to get. That's the entrance fee. You have to pay it if you want to have a chance of success. So behavior is the most important thing for building wealth, more than degrees. But do you know that the human brain can be manipulated to make dumb decisions? In his book Influence, Dr. Scialdini explains the weapons of influence people and companies use on us deliberately. Charlie Munger said that reading this book will be the best investment you will ever make. In my next video, I break down the greatest ideas from that book. Watch it because it will absolutely improve your decision making. Stay humble. Stay in the game. I'll see you in the next one.